This current administration is doing nothing but walking into gun stores, mom and pop gun stores, going after the simple little small minor paperwork errors that people are making and trying to shut those gun stores down permanently who've been in existence for decades. And what we're doing is by bringing this lawsuit, we're saying, you know what, you need to stop that. What Congress says this is what you're supposed to do. There are a set of laws there and they should follow those laws, not step outside those boundaries. And so we're trying to put them back in those boundaries and say this is enough. It's impossible for anyone to do what we do and not make any mistakes at all. You get people that walk into the gun store to fill out a 4473, which is the firearms transaction record. There's 100 ways a person can mess up this form, if not more than that. There are 100 different inputs that you actually put on the form. Even customers make mistakes when it comes to their name, their middle name or their first name. They reverse it. On that little box that says county, they put country. That does not mean that that person is going to get handed a firearm and they're not supposed to. They're not a prohibited person. And so their license should not get revoked just for that simple little minor mistake. I'm actually getting phone calls from gun stores all around the country, as far as like Oregon, as close as Houston. You're talking mom and pop gun stores. Grandparents, great-grandparents have owned this store, and all of a sudden now, ATF comes in and inspect them, find a little paperwork error. Maybe they've made the same type of error because they didn't catch it themselves, and they're wanting to shut them down. And this is the only way that I can help them is by filing a lawsuit, kind of being on the offensive instead of the defensive. I think we're assisting all the gun stores in the country in getting the ATF back into the box it need to be put back into. I'm so grateful that I was able to sit down and talk with TPPF. This organization is the one organization that I thought would actually stand up for Texans and stand up for all Americans in the United States and fight the federal government when they're overstepping their bounds.
Your business is going to have technical problems. There's no question about it. Pacific Office Automation is your guide because problem solving is our passion. Every business is unique, no matter how big or how small the problem. From copiers and printers, telephone systems, managed IT, print services, and more, we offer integrated, streamlined office solutions to keep your office humming. With Pacific Office Automation, it's problem solved. Visit pacificoffice.com today to find out more.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, "I invoke my right to remain silent," and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings, because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs, but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights, and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Good day, Austin, Texas, live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Today, we're going to talk about, we're going to go to Denver, Colorado. We're also going to talk about body cam footage out of, Dallas. And we're also going to go to Denver again. And I also want to give you a bump stock lawsuit update. This is going to be all the bump stock cases, not just one, not just the second one, not just my case. We're going to talk about all the cases. And don't forget to click, like, and subscribe right down here. Let's talk about the update on the bump stock lawsuit case. All right, so Merrick Garland versus Michael Cargill. It's now called the Garland versus Cargill lawsuit. So originally we told you that the U.S. Supreme Court was going to discuss this case in conference on September 26th. They now decided to temporarily postpone that until possibly October. So the likely reason for the delay is There are now 3 nearly identical bump stock petitions before the Supreme Court. Now, after the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit in Cincinnati held in May, the bump stock rule was invalid. Well, and that's going to be the Hardin versus Garland case. ATF filed a petition asking the U.S. Supreme Court to review that petition. So, and after the D.C. Circuit upheld the rule in the Goodies versus ATF, the plaintiff in that case filed their own certiorari petition in June. Additionally, briefs still need to be filed in both of those cases, so the court will not be in a position to rule on either petition until mid-October at the earliest. Now, the court most likely is delaying the consideration of the petition in Garland v. Cargill so that all 3 petitions can be considered at the same time. Now, because of the conflicting decision from the lower courts, the Supreme Court almost certainly will agree to decide the bump stock issue. Now, it may decide to hear all 3 cases, or it may decide to grant review in only one and hold onto the other two cases while it decides the one it granted. Now, if the court agrees to hear oral arguments in only one of the cases, ours is, and that's going to be the Garland versus Cargill case is going to be the only, most likely be the one the court will choose to hear. Now, the reason we say that is because when there are multiple petitions raising identical issues, the court generally agrees to hear the first filed petition, which is the Garland v. Cargill case. Now, the U.S. Solicitor General has asked the U.S. Supreme Court, to hear the Garland versus Cargill case and hold the other cases. And the court generally adopts the advice of the Solicitor General on such issues. Now, the petitions in Goodies suggested as one option. So what they did in Goodies is they said, hey, why don't you go ahead and hear the Garland v. Cargill case first, hold on to our case, and then we'll, go from there. So we'll see what happens, come October, because, man, this case here, this bump stock lawsuit case is going to be, I've said it once, I've said it again, I'll say it one more time, one of the most important cases of our lifetime, because if the Supreme Court decides this case and hears this case, then that will say, hey, the ATF can't create a right law, and that will go for, whatever the ATF is trying to ban. Brace, triggers, whatever, reset triggers, any and everything. It's a really important case. So this is the line right here. We got to hold it.
This is the case of whether or not the ATF can just create their own rules willy-nilly for whatever they want without any law being passed by Congress.
That's right. Without changing their mind, saying, hey, today I want to decide this. I got an itch. I need to scratch. Something's itching down low. I decide to go this way over here.
Yeah, they could say, oh, yeah, we think binary triggers are actually machine guns. So we're going to take those. They could say that, right?
Yeah. And that's why this is really important. So we got to hold the line. We got to stand firm, and we need to make sure that we represent during this Garland v. Cargill case and make sure that we win. Very important. Let's go to Long Island, New York. Let's talk about this crazy woman just pulls out a gun in traffic in the middle of the road in Long Island and pointed a gun at regular citizens and law enforcement. Take a look at this video.
911 calls Tuesday afternoon for a woman wielding a gun at the intersection of Belmore and Jerusalem in North Belmore. Nassau County police say the 33-year-old fired a single shot in the air before walking into the intersection, pointing the gun at the woman by striking her with their cruiser. Officers then rushed in to place her under arrest. Nassau County Police Chief Patrick Ryder says the officer did an outstanding job making a split-second decision to use his vehicle.
They faced down deadly.
What do you expect? And I hope no one's like, oh, my goodness. Really? Great way to end that situation. Officer did a wonderful job, protected the community, stopped the threat, took her down. Outstanding.
She had the gun pointed at her head right before the cop ran her over.
We call that suicide by cop.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a great job of diffusing the situation. Anyone disagree? No? Good. All right, let's go to Dallas, Texas, Oak Cliff. I like to hang out in Dallas. Aren't you from Dallas, Zach?
I'm from Dallas, not from Oak Cliff, though.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So I like Dallas. Well, let's go to Dallas. Check out this apartment complex video here out of Dallas, Texas.
So the guy's ringing the doorbell. He's acting like he's holding a maintenance request.
Can I help you? Oh yes, they came to check your air filters. I'm not sure. This is 38277.
Apartment. No one came to air filters.
Can you repeat that?
No one came to check the air apartment.
No. Yeah, we're checking the air filters.
Oh, nobody's home right now. You'll have to wait till another day.
Oh, much appreciated. 872. Dallas Police!
Yeah.
Mr. Rodriguez, Ethan, it's Dallas Police!
Hey, they shot back. Their shell casings out here.
Right here, open the door.
Yes, open the door slowly, man. Make sure I can see your hands. Hey,
We're
all
all
in
in
your hands.
We're all in your hands. Alright, come on out, man. Are you the only one inside?
No, my brother.
Alright, I want all of you guys to come out. Just step over here for me.
Come on, Dustin.
Alright, man.
Can I get my phone? Can I show you a video?
Yeah, we'll get it.
You
guys hear this?
All right, man. Okay, so first of all, I think good job of the homeowner initially, and not opening the door. You definitely shouldn't open the door. Situation like that. So very good instinct there, feeling that something's wrong, something's not right, and decided not to open the door and saying that, hey, no one's home right now. Come back a different time. Oh man. I'm glad that no one was in the apartment across the hallway there, because all his rounds hit the wall to the right of the door, of his neighbor across the street. And if there was someone over there in that apartment, he would have taken him out for sure.
That'd be his fault too.
Yeah, absolutely. So bad about that. I like the way the police responded, because they didn't respond with guns drawn, and out. They left their guns in their holster. They knew that this guy was the victim. And, he wasn't a problem. Just want to make sure that he didn't have a gun in his hand. So kudos, A+ to the police officers and how they respond to that situation. So, and I'm willing to bet, because he communicated with the 911 dispatcher, explained to them what was going on and what's happening, that he's the victim. So that probably played into it as well. So to take away from this, you definitely know what your threat is and what's behind your threat. Your neighbors across the hallway, you're in an apartment. Apartments, those walls are not that very thick. So you got to be careful when you're pulling out a gun and firing shots in an apartment. If you look at the apartment, and I've only seen this video like maybe once, you look at the apartment, immediately I noticed the sliding glass door in the living room. So, which tells me that the criminals had to, when they were running away, they had to go past that balcony or sliding glass door. So that would have been a better spot to take him out if you need to, or to go out that sliding glass door, peek around the corner, and pop them while they're still in your front door.
Can you shoot them if they're just running away in the parking lot?
Got to let them go. Unfortunately, you got to let them go. But while they're kicking that front door in, they're busy trying to kick the front door, and I think I would have stepped out to that balcony and sent him straight to hell. For sure. Jesus, they're coming to you on the escalator, right up there to you. One with a fanny pack. He's probably, he's got, extra magazines, and the other one, Fat Joe there, he's coming to you. You can use him, on the Ferris wheel. Let's go to La Habra, California. All right, so this video here, man, this is a very interesting video. Officers responding to a 911 call. They show up. I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's a bank. What is it? It says La Habra dispatch received a 911 call from a female party reporting being followed and tailgated from her place of work in Laguna Beach. And the caller advised to drive to the front of the police department. So she's at the police department where she would be met by officers. The caller drove and parked to the front of the police station, followed by the subject, who's 22-year-old Matthew Twain Tran, who parked directly behind her. Shortly after the police officer arrived on the scene, Tran was contacted adjacent to the front doors of the police station. So this guy followed this female to the police station. Take a look at this video.
Hi. How's it going? Good. What's going on here? I'm just seeing somebody right now. Okay. Are you associated with these cars? No. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, they'll get you in a sec, okay? All right. This guy? Hey, chief. Hey! No! Fuck!
Where you hit?
On the chest, fuck!
Okay, you're okay. Take a deep breath. 1033, suspect is down. I've got an officer down.
Man, right there. When the officer, the female officer says, hey, the male officer turns around and all you see, this guy's pointing a gun right at the officer. That is insane. I don't even know how to explain that, and how do you react to this, something like that? So quick. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what to expect. This guy pulls the gun out immediately. That's crazy.
It's aimed right at the camera. Yep.
Right at it.
Right at his body.
It's right at his chest. Man, that's glad he survived, because that was a close call there for sure. And I hope they took this guy out. All right, so let's go to San Francisco. So apparently this guy pulls out a gun, points at that police officer. They shoot, and everyone's upset about it. Let's take a look at the video and see, what was going on in the scene. San Francisco.
Police say this incident is still under investigation.
And tonight, the man's family honored his memory with a gathering. As KTVU's Amber Lee shows us, they question if police could have done more to de-escalate the situation.
Relatives, friends, and community members gather for a celebration of life to remember Ryan Bluford, who was shot and killed by police here at the intersection of Catalina and Fairfax in San Francisco's Bayview.
I was looking out my window. I seen him shot him. I was in my window.
This neighbor tells me she's traumatized by the police shooting.
They were police. I take care of myself before they take care of me.
Around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on July 26th, police say Bluford approached and engaged officers while they were arresting a man. Investigators say Bluford was armed with what appeared to be a gun. They say he pointed it at officers, and that's when police opened fire. Bluford was hit by gunfire and taken to the hospital where he died. Police released body cam video Friday during a virtual meeting regarding this incident.
We do not condone violence. We are a peaceful family. Unfortunately, the circumstances did happen. But as you know, the police make mistakes as well, and so do human beings.
Relatives at the community gathering Friday night say they have not seen the police body cam footage. They tell me Bluford had been struggling with the loss of his mother to cancer last year. Family members say they'd like to see police use tactics other than deadly force.
I really want to learn what de-escalation strategies they employ. Out of all of those police officers, I wish one of them would have just took the time to say, hey, let's talk.
I ain't worried about nobody knocking on my doors, shooting gunshots and all. I'm tired.
Relatives tell me Bluford left behind 4 children ages 3 to 20. They say authorities have not yet released his body back to his family. In San
difference.
Definitely FAFO. All right, so police are responding to a call, scene, whatever. They're, investigating something else. This guy shows up on the scene and starts yelling at police, pulls a gun out on police, and points it at them. I put myself in that situation. You pull a gun out and you point it at me, I'm going to blow you away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm just dumbfounded here.
Yeah, how could you possibly de-escalate that? Hide behind your car and say, "Whoa, whoa!
Please stop! Don't shoot me." No, it's too late for that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, but wasn't that guy like a sweet innocent angel?
And that's what kills me is when the family comes out and says, "Oh, he's a nice person. We're peaceful people." How about this? How about don't call the police? If I don't want police to interact or, to come to my house or interact with what's going on in my house, then I'm not going to call 911. I'm not calling the police. I don't call police to my house unless I expect them to pull a gun out and possibly shoot someone. I'm not calling police to because a family member is on the edge and they need mental services. I'm not calling the police for that. I'll take them to the hospital for that. I'll get them checked in for that. I don't call police unless I need something else, something very serious.
Yeah, so he was a sweet, innocent angel that pulled a gun on police.
And now he's a sweet, innocent angel spending time with the Lord.
That's a clip. That's a fucking clip for sure. That was good. All right, we got another one? Let's see.
Just fucking dragged her.
Okay, this guy drags this lady through a parking lot like she's a rag doll.
On the pavement.
Oh, wait, hold on. He's a nice young man. And, we need people to de-escalate that situation, to calm that situation down. He needed the money more than she did. Boy, I tell you need to start shooting these people. I'm serious. we really need. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, California is turning into a shithole.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to give people bullets. Just issue instead of when you go to the DMV, they should give you 9mm ammo. Issue that at the DMV and just start shooting people. I'm telling you right now. All right, let's go to Denver, Colorado, Mile High Club. It's nice and cool. It's a little cooler there in Denver than it is here then, right? Because right now in Austin, Texas, it's like 106 degrees. It's got to be a little cooler than in Denver, I would think. No? Oh, well.
I'm not mic'd. I can't talk.
All right, let's see.
Stop! Stop!
Let's go! Fuck that! Let's go! Oh, fuck that!
Hey, Brandon, look at me. Stop! Hey! Brandon! Move! Stop! Don't! Stop! Don't!
Wow. So, I have mixed feelings about this one. The mother with a child. Like, why are you guys just standing there? And then the police officer. How about the kids in the backdrop? Know your backstop and what's behind it. What's going on back there. You got to be aware of where you're firing shots. Man, good thing that she hit the target and then possibly miss and hit this little kid.
That kid was right behind the guy.
Directly behind him. That was a close call there. So good thing she was a good shot.
What's up with the mom? How come the mom let the kid just be right there?
They were just standing there.
Yeah, they're still standing there, even after the fact. I don't know. They're just people, honestly, people are, when something's happening and it's really bad, people just stop, they gulk, they pause. We don't really react like, we say we're going to react. On this show, we talk about, things that you should do, things you shouldn't do, and all that stuff. But in reality, people are in shock. They pause. They're trying to process the information and what's actually happening. And so they're processing this, and they probably don't even hear the shots right away. They're just like, oh, my goodness, this guy really gets shot right in front of me? And
well, you respond with fight, flight, or freeze, and they froze.
And most people freeze. Yeah, for sure. And and we talk about this in the license to carry handgun course. We're talking about, the video that I show of in the Target parking lot. I always ask people, what would you do? What would you do in this situation? This is what you have, and this is what you see. And then every single class, someone says, hey, can you play that back for me again? No, you go through life once. You don't go through life twice. So there's no playing it back. What would you do? Let me think about it. Unfortunately, you don't have that time to think about it. Life is going really fast. So you have to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you. And once a month, we actually do a situational awareness class or a course by Texas or U.S. Law Shield once a month and talk about different issues, different subjects. For the month of August, we're talking about a situational awareness theme going on there. So I encourage people to come to our classes, come to the situational awareness classes, come to the classes that are put on by the attorneys and also by the police officers that we have come to the Central Texas Gunworks.
Can you put that down, please?
What?
Can you put that down, please?
Now! Call your fucking
back up,
team.
come up hot.
Stop! Fucking
Stop!
It looks like she missed him, and her camera her body cam fell off. That's what it looks like.
She shot quite a few shots.
She shot a few shots and totally missed all the way.
That guy was not phased.
No.
What do you think about female cops today?
No,
I think they scream really loud.
No, it goes to training. You need to make sure that people are trained. I get, the worst people that I have that actually take our courses, the worst, are security officers. If I had to label a group of people that are just bad shots when we go to the range, the people that have to coach or teach or train or correct the most at the gun range are security officers first, people, military, because they're used to shooting rifles and not handguns, and then it goes from there. If I had to just pinpoint a certain group of people.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. And people, when it comes to security, it's all about, it's all about making a buck. It's all about having a job. It's not really about the training and the caring about what you're really doing.
Think they want to be a hero more likely?
I don't think they want to be a hero. I think, some of them do, and you can tell by how they're dressed and in their uniform and stuff like that. And some of them is just a paycheck. I would not put my life in the hands of a security officer. I'm telling you right now.
Security officer's responsibility is observe and report.
Observe and report. That's their main job, is to observe and report. So if you're thinking a security officer is going to save you, you're highly misguided. Even police officers don't have a duty to protect you, only general duty to enforce, the law.
Yeah, that's
they don't have
the Supreme Court ruled, right?
Yeah, they don't have a job to protect you. They don't have to protect you if they don't want to.
They will walk over your dead body or your dying body to get to the threat, right?
That's right. And that's what they're supposed to do. As always, more guns equals less crime. You go out there and you buy yourself a gun. You've listened to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill. Hey, it's really important that you help us right now. We're in a fight for our life. So please share, subscribe, like, Come and Talk It.